We are going to basically pull back the tree of truth. We're going to pull the limbs back so everybody can see in real time where we're going, how we got here, and how we can get out of this mess. We're going to learn how not to go to war. We're going to learn how to go back to peace. It's all about the heart, and that's where we live. And so my name is Peter Eugene. For those who have never been exposed to me, who don't know me, I've been around this block for a little while. I was just like all the rest. Got duped by the the acts of these deeds of the masses. Basically, with 5 generations being sold the same baloney, the same lies. So I had to go do some research and find out that pretty much this is what blew me away. That everything they told us was pretty much a lie. So if you're getting your programming from that thing called I call it the idiot box. It's high definition TV. That actually taps into your theta beta waves of your brain and actually puts you in a trance. It's actually a mind control machine. Not only that, most people aren't aware that that machine is looking right back at them, and that catches them in real time in the here and now, as well as all their other. You know, we're not going to do fear porn, folks. The reason we're here is we're going to pull back these curtain a lot quicker, and you'll get irrevocable proofs. I come from a position, if I can't show you a proof or that you can't resolve the issue in your mind to find out how and when we got here and how we bind it up, I like to provide proof. So I've created portals for many across the planet to find their way back home. This system of downs is got its lock, stock, and barrel from the beginning, and it started at the birth certificate. But I'm not going to cover that right now. I'll cover that in a little bit. I want to cover where I'm from, why I do this, why I'm doing this, and we'll continue to do this because it comes down to the love, folks. I love my brothers and sisters enough to bring this information forward so that no one has to die for a lie. We can break the chains that bind and stop all this generational genocide from the medical mafia, from the military-industrial complex, from the schooling, from the control mechanisms of the indoctrination of everything we've been taught. And our parents, our grandparents, we have 5 generations who basically lost their way. So I'm real excited to be here today to bring you some solutions. See, folks, everybody's talking about the problems, but nobody's talking about the solutions. So I'm going to be bringing forward many beautiful guests in the near future who can bring forward multiple different avenues of solutions that can help everybody on this planet. So I deal with the medical side of things. So let's start where I came from. I was born and raised in a place called Connecticut on the land, and I was born in the public hospital. They brought me in. Anyways, I knew something was amiss even as a child. I just said, you know, I was raised Roman Catholic, went into that construct, and I was wondering why we had to genuflect and light votive candles and pray to these statues that are dead. And I knew something was amiss. So I started asking questions at the ripe old age of 13 before I got confirmed. I asked the preacher or the priest before I moved on any further. I asked him, so what you're telling me is that we both are physically on this planet, but somehow I've been superseded in the chain of command by having to go into climb in a booth with you to get absolution from some sort of ecclesiastical sin that I did. Well, he didn't like that information that I brought forward because I was testing. He says basically I didn't fit there. Well, I knew that when he wouldn't answer the question, that since we both put our pants on the same way, I said, I'll be darned if I'm going to crawl in a box with somebody and give over to get absolution from a man who puts his pants on the same way as I do. So needless to say, I'm no longer in Catholicism. Matter of fact, I'm not in any religion, but I do believe in the here and now. I do believe we have a spiritual nexus on our planet. We are in a shift, a paradigm shift energetically. But so as I was going through my youth, I knew that a lot of stuff just didn't seem right, didn't sound right. So I had to start doing some research for myself. I had to start opening the doors and figuring out how we got binded up on needing a permission slip from these people who think they're in charge. Well, they sort of are in charge because we gave over consent along the way. But anyways, long story short, I went in the military. I did 10 years in the U.S. military, the U.S. Navy. As a Navy doc, my job was patching up Marines in wartime combat. Did 8 years of that, and I knew something was amiss there too. But I've always been the square peg in the round hole. I've always questioned things. I used to drive the colonels crazy. I used to drive the chiefs crazy because I would always ask the right questions. Anyways, they would say, Doc, you just asked too many questions. I said, well, inquiring minds want to know. I want some answers. So we didn't. I didn't get duped, but they manipulated me to get me into this construct called the military-industrial complex, and they used my good intent to go in to share that go fight these wars. By the way, if you've never seen a movie, it's called All Wars Are Bankers' Wars. Go look it up on YouTube, folks. So for anybody who's thinking of they want to go into the military-industrial construct, you might want to rethink your position because all wars are bankers' wars. If there was no profits in this, it wouldn't be raping these countries like Libya, Iraq, Iran. They're just stealing the resources, folks. That's all that is. You won't hear this on the mainstream news media because they're going to spin you your story, this yarn, and keep you in a state of conflict. This is the whole point of turning off the idiot box and getting back right with oneself. Because if you continue to keep feeding your mind with the lies, then you can't shake this garbage from your head to move forward, to realize that your belief system has been skewed across the board for pretty much your entire life. It's a hard truth to grab around. However, that's why I created an 8-week curriculum over at it's called Privatis.Me to actually show you the way on how you got here and the solutions on how to get out. We're working on multiple things on how to bring the estate back into harmony, i.e., how to bring yourself back from the private, from the public back to the private. Because right now they've got you operating the public because you are a public vessel born into the public hospital, and they reposited, i.e., deposited that birth certificate bond because Mama gave over as the informant. Anyways, I'm going to cover that birth certificate bond information probably a little later on this call. But right now, I'm just going to give my overview on just how to change your mind. But it is all about mind, body, spirit. So that's what I cover across the board over at Privatis.me and across the planet. I have a radio show over at Blog Talk as well. I've been covering this stuff for a couple of years. Folks, we don't have to get angry. We don't have to get mad. I know we've been lied to on many levels. Fraud usually vitiates all contracts, but these are sneaky little buggers. And their objective is to keep you binded at the hip so they can hypothecate and use your estate. So I want to go through that a little later. Hopefully India's online with me. When she comes on, we can share a little banter back and forth. I actually have the link. Matter of fact, I'm going to go grab that and send that over to her so she knows what I'd like to talk about because it's important. Anyways, it'll get posted over on my page so everybody can read through this eventually. Let's get back to where I came from. Okay, I was in the military for 10 years, so I did time in the military in that construct, but they used my good intent. So they manipulated me under the guise of patriotism. See, so they confused everybody under the guise of patriotism, the Constitution. We thought we were all fighting to protect something. Well, World War I's a scam. World War II is a scam. The Korean conflict, the Vietnam, every one of these things has all been for the money. It's all been for making money on the asses of the masses. My brothers and sisters who did time on Maple Drive in the military. And you are a slave. It's ironic because at birth, folks, they actually created this document called the Foundling Document. Curtis and I'm going to get him on the show probably in the very near future. And we can break it down for you in a little bit easier to understand and digest process. But at the beginning when we were born, they actually took that birth certificate and they put it in a closed letters patent, and it's held by the probate court. So they're probating the estate from the beginning, once you started, till the end. But because Mama gave you over as the informant, they got you lock, stock, and barrel, because that registration that Mama put in is what got everybody captured on the plantation, so that the state could create an estate, and they would hold it in trust, in abeyance on your behalf, until you came back home alive again. Problem is, nobody's coming back home alive again because they didn't know they were supposed to. So this is why I'm going to be teaching this in the near future, also creating PowerPoint presentations on how to not only unconsent, but how to pull your punch card from the public side of this arena that you're sitting in, where until you come to the private, you're not going home. So I'm going to be bringing forward, this is going to be a year of shifting, a year of change. It's going to be an exciting year. There's major positives coming on, medical modalities. But let's get back to the military-industrial complex. Anyways, I did 10 years in. Anyways, I bought the lies under the guise of patriotism. Well, folks, guess what? We're not operating under the Constitution. If you're on the federal side of this equation, which most are, if you were on the federal side of the equation because you were born in a public hospital and you didn't come back home alive again to make your claim, come back from the civilly dead, this is why they get to do business with you, drag you to the courts, steal your property, steal, well, it's not so much stealing because you actually gave over. They're securitizing the estate. Anyways, we're going to break this down in future calls. I didn't want to get real deep in it here. I just want to give a fundamental understanding that I've been at this for about 30 plus years on breaking this down. I understand about the negotiable instruments laws, the Uniform Commercial Code, statutes at large, implementing regulations. I've been in multiple portals to unearth all these different lies. So matter of fact, the upside is what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to, if nobody's been over to Privatis.Me, give me a second. I'm going to show you what we set up for everybody so we can give everybody a little bit more clarity on how we got here and how to get out. Anyways, but I'm going to cover this birth certificate issue because it's imperative, folks, because this is whence it started. So I would like to start where the beginning, where it came, where this all came about. And it's hard to believe, but it's actually a very simple process. Anyways, I have this 4-page overview on the birth certificate that shows all were given over at birth through registration by Mama as the informant. This is how all got controlled, lock, stock, and barrel. There is a solution to get off the plantation. Anyways, so it took a few forms to get in. It's going to take a few forms to get out. I'm dealing with some of the best and the brightest on the planet right now. Matter of fact, if you haven't seen, go over to under my Peter Eugene link, and you'll want to go watch the tribes videos. And that's going to give you a little bit more clarity. That's Brother Eddie talking about the DS11, the SS5, and how we have to come out of her. Because until you do, they own you. They get to use your estate because it's all considered abandoned property until you've authenticated those birth certificates and brought them back and procedurally pulled your so-called punch card. But you don't have to go to war. You don't have to fight. You don't have to argue. That's the best part. We're teaching how to do this in peace because let me share with you my history. I've been at the war game on multiple levels for pretty much my entire life until the last couple of years, until I woke up and got in the love vibration, got my heart right, and realized that fighting is never going to fix it. Matter of fact, in the court systems, they consider you as a belligerent. When you walk in, they consider you an infant. Go figure. You have the infantry in the military. All these children want to go fight in these foreign wars. But for those of my brothers and sisters who are in the military, this is not a slap on that. I did 10 years in. I bought the lie. I didn't know any better. Once you wake up to the truth, then you have to change your mind and change your heart. But for most of my brothers and sisters who are stuck in this construct in the military-industrial complex, they manipulated and used your good heart against you. You thought you were doing something positive to change the world. Well, war is never positive. Taking a life, there's nothing positive about it. That's another spirit, and especially when it's when you're doing it willy-nilly and it's somebody who's never done anything to you. But because the system is so compromised, and compartmentalized. The generals don't tell the lower echelon, the whole everything in the middle. And same with the court systems. Same with the military, not the medical industrial complex. They have hidden and kept compartmentalized on every level, all these different things, so that the people who are doing the dirty deeds, like in the court systems with the bonds and all this other stuff, they do this, and it's all compartmentalized. The left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing. Matter of fact, the DA, the judge, are sort of the fall guy. They actually set the ball in play, and it's the clerk who's actually doing all the dirty work as far as doing the bonds. Matter of fact, on week 3 in my curriculum over at Privatis.Me, I have all the bonds over there. Did a 2-hour call on exactly what happens in court. So if you're not aware, you keep walking in and taking on that onus, the first, middle, last name, you're using and you're infringing upon a piece of property that's not yours. I know this sounds crazy, and I know you're saying to yourself, well, it is mine. No. Until you make the proper claim, until you get proper authentication of the birth certificate itself in the proper way, that ball is in play. In other words, they get to use it and probate the estate as long as they want until you come home and make a claim. So live men claim, dead men complain. That's why they have you filing complaints in court. When they get you into court, file a complaint, file a plea. If you file a plea, you're on your knees. It's not good, folks. So what we're going to do is what we're going to be bringing forward to the planet on this paradigm shift, this consciousness shift, is a procedure correctly to pull their punch card from the dance, from the public side to come back home into the private. And those videos that are already created, the tribes meetings, I was down there 3 months ago, back in September in Treasure Island. If you haven't seen those videos, I highly advocate everybody that's watching right now, go under my Peter Eugene link, and you'll go ahead and be able to see that tribes meeting on how to claim. It's called Claim Your Birthright. So, folks, my objective to share the love with the world, to show people how to claim their birthright, and that's the whole point. And since we're doing it for free because we don't charge our brother, they're not going to be happy. And it really doesn't matter because, they were never honest and forthright with us from the beginning. Had they been, we wouldn't be in the mess we're in. It's control mechanisms are us. The corporations don't care about us. The Monsatans of the world, the FDA, the CDC. And I cover all these other aspects. I cover how they poison the shots, the mercury, the formaldehyde, and the aerosol they put in every shot, folks. Matter of fact, there's a nice link you can go to. It's called www.novaccine.com. And it actually has a nice link put together by some ex-medical folks who actually show exactly what they put in every poisonous shot on the planet. And they now plan on putting other nice stuff into it, like cancer agents and stuff like that. All these constructs actually compromise the immune system and break it down. So we've got a lot of ground to cover over the next 12 months. But I thank goodness for Big E.O. and Mel for bringing me in the loop, so that I can sort of get you fast-tracked on finding out how you got here and how the hell to get out. Because if you don't like what's going on at the buffet table of Caesar, if you're sitting at that buffet table, if you've consented and given over for mere benefits and privileges, you are binding on the plantation. That's why the Congress critters can legislate away your rights, because you have no rights. In the first week of my curriculum over at Privatis.Me, I actually cover stuff, and I actually have a link. Anyways, I think there you are. How are you? Okay, you need to turn your volume on. Okay, hold on. I think mine's up. Audio. I don't need to do share screen with you or anything, do I? Okay, audio's up. I just don't hear you. Biggie, maybe we can give India a hand so I can hear her. Anyways, I'm not sure exactly. Okay, here we go. Chat. Okay, I'm hitting chat. Okay, there we go. That helps. How are you? It is a pleasure to finally get with you again. Isn't it ironic we were both in Arvada at the same time? We both came up from Florida at the same time. Wasn't that funny?
Absolutely. Let me change. I just bought a new headset, so I have to engage
Okay,
this.
go ahead.
Download the driver for it. I'm going to be
Great.
silent for a second, and then I'll join you, okay?
Okay, very good. Take your time. I'll just keep moving forward.
Okay.
Anyways, I was just trying to give people a little understanding of, we've pretty much been lied to from the beginning. I don't know if you've been to Privatis.Me and seen the 8-week curriculum where I break it down, where it all started from the birth certificate on. And this is to give people a little bit more clarity. It makes it a lot easier if they actually start from the beginning. And so what I did was I created the 3 free tours are over up underneath my name over at CCN, so everybody can go, and they need to really walk through those videos. India, and I did those videos so that they would have clarity. Like I deal with the alternative medical all constructs like you as well. And I have links over there that I give away free to the planet so that everybody can not have to die for the cancer lie. And anyways, there's so much good stuff coming on the alternative medical technologies being made available. And they're not really technologies. I hate because it almost sounds like a robot or something. No, these modalities have been available for thousands of years, but Big Pharma over the last 100 years has done a really good job of suppressing it because they're all about the money. They have no conscience to want to change this construct for money. That there's no healing in their hearts. There's no. And I'm not saying all of. I know a lot of doctors that are coming over. That are actually coming over to the alternative side, knowing that the chemical side of this equation has been binding my brothers and sisters up from the beginning. I mean. And it's ironic. On my show on Saturday night, I was talking to Andrea, my producer, and I said, everybody should go grab themselves it's called a physician's desk reference. It's called a PDR. And it actually lists all the chemicals, all the medications in that what physicians would use to look up and reference contraindications, indications, adverse reactions of what happens with these medications. Well, they'd rather nobody had a copy of that because then you know what poisons are getting put into you. But it's amazing that, a 97% failure rate to cure cancer is, I call that genocide. And it's ironic. They rush everybody to hurry up and go get their chemical therapy / cut and burn. They're poisoning literally their brothers and sisters for lucre. It's a money-making thing, and that's all it's about. Big Pharma, FDA, they're all in bed together. All these people, and I could prove all this stuff. I've posted so much stuff on this, but I don't want to do all the proof stuff right now. What I want to do is just cover. I'm going to cover how we got here and how it started, and then I'm going to give people maybe alternatives on how they can get out if they're willing to open their eyes and their hearts and take a look. Everything I share is for everybody's clarity, to give them clarity on how we got here and how you can get out. But I got some good things happening. Tomorrow I got to do a class. Let me get off of that. Tomorrow I got to do a class on how to make the medicine. And guess what, India?
Tell me if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
I can hear you great.
Okay, good. Thank you. Sorry, I changed equipment and didn't think to test it before I joined in here.
Very good. Well, the nice part about this medicine that I'm going to be teaching to make tomorrow, I was going to start out with the ethanol, the oil, and the tincture. Well, guess what? It's so much easier than that. About 5 days ago, some information landed on my desk. It's called THC paste, PASTE. So we're actually going to be able to make and use that whole pound. Remember when you, under the old construct, to make the oil, you have to wash all the cannabinoids out with the ethanol? Not necessary.
Wow.
Matter of fact, you're actually destroying 90% of the terpenes by doing that process with the ethanol, and you can still make the oil. The oil, I'm not putting down the oil. Things have changed. This technology to make the paste has been around for thousands of years. This is what they were doing before even the oil came on the scene. Matter of fact, because of the immersion process, the emulsion process of the slow cooking of the paste in water in a 4-ounce jar, and it actually emulsifies and releases all the THC, the CBDs, and the terpenes into the paste, and it's actually a dense medicine. By the way, it tastes great. I've been on it for 4 days.
I have a question. So is the paste, was that before something that was like a waste product that was discarded, or is this a whole different process that has that as the end product on purpose? Or,
Yes, it's
okay.
right. The paste is the end product on purpose, because I didn't know this until about 5 days ago. Now I got together with this guy Brad. He's out of Colorado. Even in the Bible, and I just read it. It's an allegory, but this paste has been around for thousands of years. What they used to do back in the day was they'd actually take a clay pot, take about 9 pounds of dense buds, put them in the pot, put some frankincense, myrrh, and some good oil, not the garbage oil that we use. It's not hydrogen.
Isn't that what they brought baby Jesus?
Right, exactly.
What an amazing gift.
Yes, manna from heaven. So, isn't it amazing? Because I've uncovered the 121 National Institute of Health reports, which I posted over at my International Cannabis page, that the jury's been in on THC, CBDs, and cannabinoids for many, many years. They hid the reports, the National Institute of Health. So I did them a favor and found their 121 reports and posted them for everybody's public consumption, because it talks about every swing cancer on the planet. But the best part about this medicine, it's actually good for diabetes, heart disease. Anyways, it works on heart disease, diabetes, pretty much most other medical modalities. Is it no wonder that in 1937 they shut the door on cannabis?
Absolutely. And I think it's really important to well highlight the fact that anyone who is in doubt about the efficacies of this healing modality as something that is accepted by the same system who makes it illegal, they have it patented. So to me, if they're saying don't do it, but we've got the proof and the scientific data that backs up the fact that this is a genuine healing modality, that should make people at least interested enough to do the further research and ask the
Yes.
questions so that they can educate themselves instead of just wait till someone tells me if it's okay or not.
Oh yeah, wait for a permission slip.
Yeah.
Well, let's take I was down south when I was in Florida, and I went and helped a colonel out. He'd already been through the loop. He'd already been chemoed. He knew they were lying to him. He was ex-colonel in the Air Force. It was nice. We got to sit down. I got to see him eye to eye and share a heart with this man, and and for about 4 hours. So I went over and I taught him how to make what's called liposomal vitamin C, which is another alternative cancer adjunct. By the way, since I've been posting the Living Herbal Pharmacy's link on that, because they got a nice 16-minute video that actually shows you how to make it, and that's even a caveman can do it. If Peter can do it, anybody can do it. That's why I say, if it's got 2 moving parts, I'm in trouble.
Oh, that's good though. To me, I think if the things that are so complicated, that's beyond people's everyday use, that's a deterrent. And I don't think it's that it's so difficult. I think a lot of people were just lazy. We're used to instant potatoes, instant cake, microwave food, pop a pill and make everything go away. But it's time to ask the critical questions and do some thinking that, is beyond, again, what we're spoon fed. And to me, this is so valuable, a stream of information for people to be able to use in their very own lives. Because I don't know anybody who, if they haven't had cancer, doesn't know somebody or know someone who has had cancer, especially. And as we discuss so much in the medical shows, normally once someone gives you that diagnosis, which Clive DeCarl loves to say, die means two, gnosis means to know, a in front of a word means you don't know. So that means there's 2 people who don't know what the hell they're talking about. So they can give someone that diagnosis, and that begins the spiritual and the mental decline that leads to the physical decline, because where your mind goes, your body follows. So again, this is so very important. I feel that you're sharing this data stream and making things accessible, reasonable, and understandable, because lots of charts and chemical equations just frighten people away and like, oh, that's too hard. But you're making this that, you know, Einstein says if a 6-year-old can understand it, if you can explain it so a 6-year-old can understand it, then you're on the right path. So I absolutely honor all the work you're doing, Peter. It's brilliant.
Well, I've had a lot of help along the way, and what's great is I have nice portals I can dump them into. I was looking for, let me find this link. Give me a second. All right, I got so many things out there here. Have you seen this 19-minute video to make the paste yet?
No, I can barely keep up with all the research I'm doing already. So no, I'm not going to lie and say I did.
All right, sorry. Well, that's why I post. Well, I'm Peter the poster child, so I post. I'm the poster child for posting. You gotta love it.
Yes.
I'm gonna see if I can. Can I? Is there a way I can stick this in your Zoom group chat? This link.
Yes, you can put it in the chat right now.
Okay, let me see if
you'll have to type it though because it doesn't allow pasting. Or you can just pop it in Skype. I still have my Skype is open, and you pop it in.
Okay. Oh, cool. Very good. Okay, good. Let me do that. That'll be a lot easier. Here, let me find you. There you are. Boom. Yeah, very good. This makes it a lot easier. Matter of fact, let's discuss with this further because you know what? I think until we get the body right, the mind's not going to work, the heart's not going to work. And so I'm going from this from a physical capacity as well as mental. Because of the fluoride, the chemtrails, the GMO foods, the endocrine disruptors in the toothpaste, the canned goods. I mean, all these different poisons are literally have compromised the mind to actually be free and unencumbered because it's being blocked by all these different poisons. And especially if they're on medications on top of that, they're actually shutting down their body to actually communicate. The cells can't communicate with chemicals. Synthetics will never fix the body. They're poisons to the body. So, folks, I know it's hard to believe, but you've been lied to for 100 years, and this is the only thing they know. And they don't know how to. They couldn't. These people, most of them couldn't find their ass with both hands. I mean, it's really disgusting that my community. I was in it for 10 years as a Navy doc, and they're not about some that, you know, I used to set compound fractures. I used to put casts on. I used to sew Marines up. I mean, I worked in those, and that's very, very needed. And so I didn't issue out much in the way of chemical therapy because I didn't subscribe to it, but I could write scripts and whatever. But the alternative nutrition, dense nutrition, is food for the body. It fixes everything. I mean, I'm on liposomal C with stem cells. I'm reboosting my body. I'm doing hemp powder without the THC. I get magnesium through my special water system. I have this Miracure water system that actually gives me living water. It actually goes through a 10,000 vortex technology. It goes through these rotations written with love, harmony, peace. And so the end result, when my water comes out, it's got no chemicals, no poisons, no fluoride, no chlorine. Also, it captures what's called the ORMUS, organically rearranged monatomic elements. And
I just drank my ORMUS Gold just a moment ago.
Very good. Yeah, restructures the DNA. Isn't that special? I mean, so I've got a water system that I got here at the house that I'm using that actually changes up. I mean, I'm drinking lots and lots of water, and it's real water. It's not poison.
And it's in glass. That's also something that people don't realize. They think drinking water is sort of like a craze, or it's a fad, or it's in vogue right now. So you see everybody walking around with these plastic water bottles, and we can't say enough on the shows that we do the importance of drinking from a glass container, because your water is leaching all kinds of things from the BPAs. Your water has so many total dissolved solids in it in the first place, and then you're drinking it out of a container that is adding to your issues that are compounding on top of you as you continue to do the right thing, because you haven't asked the proper questions, you haven't informed yourself, just like you're talking about the medical community, and my hat is off to them, because I really don't think many of them realize the levels to which they've been deceived. Being, you paid all this money, you've got this brilliant coat, and you've got your little tablet now, you can dispense medicine, you are an official. And some people get kind of stuck in the fact that that is their identity. So discussing something that makes them seem like they've paid, $200,000 for a faulty education is frightening. And I think that's where cognitive dissonance comes in. And this is why we love to keep reminding people to take back your health and wellness in your own hands. You don't have to wait till someone comes along and says, "Oh, we found a cure." Don't wait for them to tell you. The cures are here. They're in nature. Just like you're talking about THC, I'm part Native American, and my ancestors have been sorting out cancer with Essiac tea for eons.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just things out of the forest. And there's no pills, no tablets, no prescriptions involved whatsoever. But to anyone you speak to in the medical community, those are quacks. So we've got to
Yep.
skip that middleman and go straight to the horse's mouth so that we can get the information ourselves. And that's why, again, what you're doing is so important, because you don't tell people what to do. You share with them information and provide, like you said,
Right.
plenty of backup so that they can go down the rabbit hole and find out for themselves and then make an informed decision.
Yeah, matter of fact, I have a link. Study finds over 24,000 chemicals in bottled water. Which ones are harming you?
Why does water have anything in it but water? You know what I mean? Like that's
Right.
like the McDonald's French fry thing. It's got like 20 ingredients. French fries? Like I don't.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, and I don't think people are paying attention to these things because it's not handed to them. On a leaflet somewhere. Nobody wants to go and do the work. So again, it's so important what you're doing.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Anyways, well, I've got, I can do 2 a week. The stuff I can bring forward fast and furious. They'll never be able to put the poop back in the elephant. Wait until, I mean, I'm really excited. Anyways, I posted you in your Skype, incredible Facebook page that covers many solutions in real time every Wednesday. Okay, that's, it was on my blog talk, but I've got my link, excellent solutions on all things cannabis to cure all cancers. I have it's called the International Cannabis page, and it's actually the patient's wall, and I like to post success stories. I got doctors in there posting on proper dosing with cannabis, and people coming out of stage 4 cancers and stuff like that. And I post those success stories because most in the regular world, because all they're fed is that line of BS from the system, from that construct. If all they do is get their information from the thing called the idiot box, and they're devoid of any true knowledge or truth, because the big pharma FDA, their whole objective is to keep everybody bamboozled. But isn't it ironic? In the court, the court has orders, and the doctor has orders too. Isn't that sort of ironic?
Absolutely.
And when we're born, we're in a medical state of emergency. Well, guess what? We've been in a medical state of emergency from the beginning. I mean, since 1871, this state of emergency has been going on. The state of war, the war on for drugs, the war on for poverty, the war on for crime. What a crock of crap! These people couldn't win a war. They couldn't find their ass with both hands. I mean,
Absolutely.
these are the trolls to keep everybody busy, bamboozled, and basically not looking beyond the pale in any way, shape, or form. They keep them in a state of conflict. So let's talk about vibration and pitch for a minute. Let's talk about energy. See, because if you're in a state of conflict, then your mind is not working right. It's like people who have to go deal with court or like a medical issue. Well, India, if the bear is on your doorstep and you're in crisis mode psychologically, you're not going to be able to think straight. I mean, all these people in the medical modalities, they're getting literally roughshod. Hurry up and come and get this. Go get your boobs cut off. Go get this done. Slash, cut, and burn. They want you in a state of psychological disarray. So guess what? You're going to make the wrong decision, because it's, for most people, since they haven't been looking at the alternatives for their entire life, it's such a hard pill for them to swallow, to switch gears psychologically. They're just, because, well, the doctor wouldn't lie to me. He's got my best, but let me tell you something.
Oh yeah, my parents are that way. They both had cancer, and they're the same thing. The government would never just, if there was something to what you're saying, they would have told us so long ago. So.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Really. Well, what was that? Back in the 40s, they took a lot of our black and brown brothers and sisters and did tests on the syphilis. Remember
syphilis,
back in 1940s?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, well, see, that's called naive. It's sort of like feeding everybody the Jesus fish at church. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's the
absolutely.
Bible's an allegory. The Bible is an allegory. And when they talk about it's going to come in from the east, they're not talking about a geographical location. They're talking about your right mind.
Hmm.
Well, I already lost their
It's
mind. I
incredible.
lost my
Yeah.
mind a long time ago.
That's a good thing because the one that you had was filled with such garbage. You know what
Yeah,
I
I
mean?
had to jump.
It's better
I,
to start over with a clean
I,
slate because, yeah, absolutely.
but
I have a question. I have
go
a
ahead.
question about
Help yourself.
about this paste. Now,
Yes.
again, we talk a lot about healing and going back to wellness and kind of detoxifying ourselves and
Yes.
rehydrating ourselves and getting some nutrition in us, and that's really important for correcting issues. Tell me if this paste is also efficacious if it works well in a preventative sort of mode. Would that
Hell
be?
yeah. That like, boy, you know how to crawl into my head. Very good. Everybody should be on it. It's a preventive. Because what it says is, okay, this is what happens when, first of all, I didn't post that link, but I could and I will later, I guess. Endocannabinoids. See, people don't understand. That link's also on my International Cannabis page. It's an article on endocannabinoids. We are all filled with endocannabinoids from the mollusk on up. That means your dog. Oh, by the way, the veterinarian clinics, all your animals need to be given this medicine as well because they don't need that crap because they're just poison constructs. That's round two, part two. So you can take Fido down there to get some antibiotics. It ain't gonna fix his bad hip. But I'll tell you
Absolutely
what,
not. Yep.
the tincture, the paste will. So it's so here's another incestuous tie on the money end of things, making money off of your animals. And people they love, some people love their animals better more than people. It's just the way they are. That's the way they're wired. But they'll spend hundreds of dollars on Fido when all he needs is a little medicine. I mean, matter of fact, Rick Simpson, he did a talk back a few months back, and he was telling how he used putting the medicine up on the dog's gum. The dog is like probably 18 years old, had bursitis or it's the medical maladies where it couldn't move real
Right.
quick. Like what is that?
Different joint
Arthritis.
issues and all of this sort of thing that come along with. But then if you notice, if one of the doctors on the panel is a former veterinarian, that's how he got his beginning in medicine, and he will forever sharing. In fact, next weekend the show will be based around pet care and animal care, but it's our domesticated pets who suffer these maladies that you find in the human population. You don't
Yes.
find this in the wild. You don't find herds of something falling, well, we've got brain tumors now, this herd is gone, or they've caught this virus, and that it doesn't happen. We're feeding them the same garbage that we're eating, the same processed foods that,
Yes.
things that have, protein in it. You don't know what the source of this protein. You have no idea. And a lot of times it's grind up animals from meat processing plants and bones
Yep.
and backs and skulls of things. And then they put in these cute little colorful bits and nuggets and balls shaped like, I don't know what, and say it's food for Fido. But you're feeding them all kinds of fillers and you're feeding
Yes.
them grains. Dogs aren't meant to be eating grains and rice and oats. That's not their natural diet. And then
That's
you
right.
wonder why the lifespan is so short. Oh, I hate that my dog is only going to live 8 years. Well, try feeding it some raw food and you'll be much
Yep.
better off, So these are things that we need to be reminding people constantly because it seems to have escaped them to make that correlation between their life cycle and their life patterns and the lifestyles. They're mirroring ours, and we're both ill.
Yep. Well, the upside is the cat's coming out of the bag at the speed of sound. Matter of fact, Tuesday I'm doing a class. I guess I need to do a class on how to make the oil. How to make the THC paste in real time.
That would be amazing. And if you could, and when you do them, if you could think about recording them and or maybe doing like a webinar or something so that people who can't come to where you
Right.
are able to go ahead and participate because I'm sure they could probably pick it up, right? If not there in person,
Oh yeah.
they could pick up
Yep.
the methods.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I watched it once and then went and made 30-month supply.
Oh, well, there you go then.
Yeah, so I'm a slow dog, but I do pick up things. And when they see it, matter of fact, there's a 19-minute video that actually shows it. This guy's name is Brad. He's over out of Colorado, and I'm now aligned with him.
Oh, good.
Also, yeah, because I got so many good people I want to bring on this show who could be a real catalyst. So I'm already making my list. We have a sister. What's her name? I'm having a brain fart. So many people. She does textiles. Anyways, she actually does. Did you know that they're putting poisons? The FDA just got approved to put corn fibers with benzene in all the clothing, so you can really get some cancer now. Well, she does alternatives. She's got 40 years. She's got 40 years in the mix on the textiles. And I got to meet with her personally before I came out here. Before I took the train from Arvada to come out here, I actually got to stop into her office and meet up with her for an hour. And the scumbags are blocking her from bringing her products to market. She did 20 years over in China, and they are masters of their own universe as far as making these beautiful hemp non-compromised from socks to shirts. And she went over there to learn the technology even better. So she's got like 40 years under her belt. I'm going to be bringing her on the show. I want her to get some massive exposure because she's got some beautiful, beautiful stuff, and all of her stuff she doesn't use anything compromised. But most of the guys that are growing in USA Inc. Try and create. They don't even know how to grow the hemp right, even the non-THC hemp.
Well, they're genetically modifying cannabis crops now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay. So here we come back to what I've been trying to say from the beginning. Self-sufficiency is key. If you're not self-sufficient, then you can't bitch. You're gonna pay a lot for this muffler. I use that as a commercial from 1970s.
Right.
Remember that old lady? She goes, "You're not gonna pay a lot for this muffler." Or, "I'm not gonna pay a lot for this muffler." Well, you're gonna pay a lot for this muffler if you're not self-sufficient. If you don't know how to grow your own stuff, if you don't know how to make your own medicine, whatever, then you're at the mercy of somebody else. See, and that's not a good place to be. That's a position of weakness. So the whole point of the exercise of what we're bringing forward this year is to teach people, to show them self-sufficiency on a whole nother level. Matter of fact, that guy, what's his name over at Natural News, is bringing forward some really neat information coming forward in February on how to do dense nutritional growth that's 10 times better than the organic stuff you even get. It's going to have more nutrients and stuff. It's called grow.org. It's a new link that just got set up. I was posting the hell out of it last week. What's the name of that guy over there at Natural News? Mike. I don't know. Geez, too many names in my head. Anyways,
I don't know his name.
Yeah, well, I know who he is. Anyways, Natural News. Go over to Natural News, folks. You want to get on. Anyways, he's got some technology, I guess, that you can do in a printer, and it will make the component or whatever that you're looking at. Anyways, it's beyond my scope. Until I get my arms around it, I'm not sure exactly the modalities he's talking about, but I know it's about self-sufficiency and how you can grow in your own house with hardly any water. You don't even need an acre in the backyard. For people living in cities, they can even do this. So he's really teaching. He's really bringing forward a new form of self-sufficiency that's going to help literally millions.
Absolutely. And I think that's important also to note that people think that you have to have like acreage and whole lots of space, but there are lattice gardens. There are things you can do growing with like repurposed milk containers. There's a ton people that have a home. You can grow on the roof. There's all sorts of different stacking types of structures where you can grow things when you have limited space. I have a question now regarding the different intake methods, whether it be smoking versus vaping versus edibles versus paste versus oil. Is there a level of potency to each one, or is there one that is better for, is there a different one for depending on the situation that you're in, or is any of them efficacious, or what is the difference there? How do we know which is better to be doing? Because I get that question a lot as well.
Yeah, because first of all, on the cellular level, smoking weed it's going to get you stoned, but it's probably not going to fix it. You need a sort of what's good about this emulsification process on making the paste? You're making something food grade that your body can actually absorb, and it's absorbing it orally, and so it's getting straight into the bloodstream. I mean, smoking gets in the bloodstream too, but it doesn't have the same. You're not
concentrated amounts.
Right, exactly.
Okay. All right.
Whereas the paste, the paste, and if they want to you want to really get some good uptake with it, take your pea-sized dose of paste with a little bit of coconut oil, scoop of coconut oil. It will create a better uptake, and the lauric acid will settle up in the brain, start getting it'll bring it to the centers. It'll get the cells to bring it where it needs to go. To you know how many people are suffering from autism and
Oh
what is
yes,
it,
yes.
seizures and stuff. Yeah, well,
Mm-hmm.
this between the coconut oil and dosing with this, they could pretty much probably resolve pretty much their autism, their their
Like
seizures.
Alzheimer's type issues and all that kind of thing as well.
Well, yeah, there's plenty of articles on at Natural News about the coconut oil reversing. Matter of fact, see, I went because people wanted, they're from the Show Me State. I found an article from a doctor who had a husband who's 53 years old, who was a Cabbage Patch doll from his Alzheimer's, and he didn't even know his name. He couldn't even tie his shoes. He couldn't do nothing. She put him on about 3 doses, 3 scoops a day, and within 30 days, he was able to write his name and he was becoming lucid
Mm,
again. Within 90
that's
days, he knew
amazing.
who he was. He was back skipping, running, doing his thing, and it reversed it. But because it's a $153 billion a year business to sell friggin' garbage that doesn't fix Alzheimer's or is dementia, big pharma, it's all about the money.
Oh
Uh,
yes, absolutely. The insurance is in bed with the pharmacies,
yeah,
who are in bed with the doctors, who are in bed with the funeral homes. Like it's all one big thing. They feed and suck off each other. It's literally vampirism. Now, you talked about adding the paste to the coconut oil.
well, I
Does it
begin.
lose any potency if you were to add it into like a smoothie? Because we often tell people like in the morning to start with, like a banana and then add the coconut oil, a raw egg, which is kind of a boost for the body to wake up without being too heavy, and it's giving your cells something to begin with. Does it lose any potency if we add it with other foods, or should we just be having it directly?
Yeah, no, you want it independent. You want to. You can do a scoop of coconut oil with the pea-sized dose and just swallow both. Yeah, I did a dose like at lunchtime the other day, and I said, "Oh, I'll be fine." 2 hours later, it snuck up on me and got me.
That's
I says,
funny.
really? I says, really? I says, I feel like I just been hanging around with the chiefs of the tribe, passing the bowl around for the last
Hanging out with Shaggy.
Yeah, right. Butt roll.
Oh, hilarious.
But the nicest, let me share this with people. It was a nice body high, but my brain worked just fine. I went to creative mode. So, consciously speaking, yeah, it changes your conscious mind because what you're doing is you're realigning, restructuring the endocannabinoids in the system, which creates what's called homeostasis, which creates an alkaline state, allows left-right brain to start working, opens up that third eye, and that's where you're supposed to be. So it's no wonder that scumbags are us, Big Pharma and the FDA, don't want anybody taking this type of medicine because it opens up the third eye. You'll be able to start thinking again. That makes them really nervous.
Yeah, thinking man, that's a scary notion, more frightening than any of the monsters we see at Halloween. Absolutely. It's so
Yeah.
good though, Peter. I have to tell you that with the people that I work with and in meeting you, people that have these medical training backgrounds. Just the other day, I was introduced to a nurse who walked away. She was an oncology nurse because she discovered the how efficient nutrition is in correcting these imbalances. Again, you mentioned homeostasis. It just means bringing it back to balance. And so I know it's always seems like it's too slow, but the medical community at large, they're waking up. There are people who are, I don't know if they're getting a conscience or if they've just had enough of feeling like they're part of the problem, but I'm really grateful to see that people are actually coming around to these other modalities because what we consider modern medicine is only like a couple hundred years old. So could you possibly be so cut off from reality to believe that no one was ever healed, nobody got better until they created pills? Like,
Yeah, right. What across the
like cut,
crap.
burn, poison? That's not, that doesn't even sound good. If someone says, "Oh, come over, let me cut, burn, and poison you," no thanks.
Yeah,
But you
yeah.
call the doctor and make an appointment for just those kinds of attention.
Procedures.
Yeah.
No, it's well, like I say, this comes down to a consciousness shift. We've been programmed five generations of giving over that birth certificate bond at birth and giving Junior over to the new estate. Hey, we created a new estate. I mean, yeah, because I wanted to cover that. I'm sort of on the medical role, but I want to cover that. I have that if you've never seen this birth certificate, this 4-pager, it's really, really simple. So since we're starting off the year right, let's start off whence it all started for the people's consciousness shift, because their birth certificate was the first thing in line that gave them away. And so
Yep.
I was trying to get it posted over on my page. I know Biggie's going to get back to it. Let me find you. And I did think let me make sure.
Yeah,
Yes,
you sent it to me.
I
I've got
did.
it.
And I'm going to
Yeah, the
open it up.
PDF. Yeah.
Yep. And it's you're gonna love this, and we're gonna go through this. So I want to share with people, folks. Okay, this is what's happened to us all. We all got claimed lock, stock, and barrel. I know it was all fraudulent. I know they didn't tell mommy. I know they didn't tell daddy, and that fraud should vitiate all contracts. But you know what? 7 billion people aren't going to wake up and do anything. So what we got to do is pull the punch card. It took forms to get in, and it's going to take a couple forms to get out. And that's what we're working on, India. So I'm going to create a PowerPoint presentation on how to properly procedurally do your DS11, your SS.
That's amazing, because yeah, I've shared that information in that procedure like a couple of years back when people were becoming aware of how this structure is built on our backs, and it was quite convoluted in going through the Dun and Bradstreet and finding doing the research on your social security number, and then there was like 600 and some odd corporations who were listed under my social security number, but then it's like, oh my gosh, all this stuff must have been 45 links. So that would be really fabulous if you could do something that put it together with in a flow chart, sort of a presentation, so that people can
I have masters in my universe who share the love. I got my sister Susan up in Washington State. I got brother Eddie up north, and when we get it all together, we're going to put it into a PowerPoint presentation so everybody can follow the bouncing ball, because that's how I teach.
I love it. Thank you.
So everybody needs to get their butts in a seat over at Privatis.Me, because first of all, they need to pull the curtain back and go through the 8-week free curriculum so they can find out how they got here. But by the 5th week, I'm talking about solutions on how you get out. Everybody, like I said, I don't want to just talk about the problems, but I got to tell people on all these different constructs how they got compromised on the medical, the religious, the military, the political, the
education,
churches,
the health, yeah, all of it.
Everything, yeah. We've given over our consent on every level. They've trained us up well, but we've consented on every issue. See, because technically, the Constitution does stand on the de jure side of the equation. The problem is everybody's on the de facto federal side of the equation, because mama bore you in a friggin' public hospital, and she deposited the baby with the system. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover this a little bit about the trust, and a little bit about it's called the Freedom River. It's called Freedom River. What is a birth certificate? And I'm sure that 99.99% of the masses have never read this one, but this is the best synopsis that I have found to date that gives pretty much ease of understanding, simply for people to get the concepts of how they got binded up, lock, stock, and barrel. We became bond slaves. It's funny, India. It's not a black-white issue, but everybody wants to make it a color issue. It has absolutely nothing. We're all friggin' slaves on this sorry-ass plantation, and that's including us bullios, us white boys,
Well,
so
it's a prison planet, so yeah, it's not.
Right.
I think that when people think of slavery ended, no, it didn't end. It extended to include everyone. That's it. That's the only thing that actually shifted in that time period in history when people refer to the abolition of slavery. No, it wasn't. It just went underground, and it's a beautiful prison with walls you can't see. So you just carry on thinking everything's amazing. It's so
Yep. And so all these IMF-run countries, Australia, UK, all Germany, anybody that's an IMF-run country, I'm willing to bet my teeth. Once we finish what we finish here, we'll be able to share this with them, because it's going to have a same parallel procedure for them to pull their punch card out of the game as well. It's ironic, because I had about a year ago, me and Curtis were covering the divine proportion claim. How to bring your estate back, how do you bring yourself back home from the dead to the living again, because they've got us all considered civilly dead. The only thing I regret not doing was putting my right footprint on it, because I wanted to have standing. See, nobody has standing. So this is what, and I'm going to prove this to people, how they got the jurisdiction from the beginning, whence it started with the birth certificate. And this is why it goes the way it goes on mortgages, foreclosures, the banking, and most people don't realize. Nobody reads the copy of the driver's license application when they go to fill it out. And at the very top, it says, "You are a vessel in commerce." I read it. I was in Virginia. I was fixing to This is back in 2009. Once I read that, I said, I'm never getting a damn license again. I'm not a vessel in commerce. But that's what they want you. See, so that's why they ask you for license, registration, and title or whatever. That's three. Everything's done in threes. This is an ecclesiastical black magic. So when you go to court, the judge, all rise. He's bringing us back from the dead for a minute in time. Isn't it ironic that at the bottom of all their paperwork, it's a black flat line? Do you know what that represents?
I know it's something to do with the maritime admiralty. Just like when you go through the little gate when you go to court, you're entering like a ship.
Oh, right. You are the ship. Yeah, matter of fact, Miami's got a big ship. If you not see it, and so they can plunge your citizenship because guess what? You're an unmarked vessel, and when you walk into their courts, they get you for a minute, and you walk into the trap. And you answer up to the first, middle, last name, which is a false construct.
Absolutely.
It's called, matter of fact, it's called constructive fraud. Every case is a constructive fraud, and you become a party to it when you answer up to the first, middle, last name, and then they got a game. And what they're doing is that it's all sleight of hand. It's but the reason they have a flat black line is so you can come back alive for about 2 seconds when you curse yourself and put your scribble on it. That's a heartbeat. That's considered you ever see a heart monitor?
Right. Yeah.
That's the heartbeat for 1 second in time. It captures it, and you give over your signature unencumbered, and we got a game. We got
It's ridiculous the things that we don't realize when you walk into a courtroom. Just like the judge sits on a bench. The bench is a word from I think it was like ancient Greeks or Latin that means a bank. So he's there to make money. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what it is. And every word that you utter, because you are considered cargo, it's babble. So nothing you say is going to matter anyway. Once you've assumed the identity of this corporate identity that you answer to by saying, yeah, that's me. Why is my name in all caps? I never write it like that.
Right.
Start asking questions and listen to what your intuition is saying instead of what is popular or, well, boy, people are going to laugh if I go to court and give this particular sort of an answer, or if I don't stand up and say this. Sometimes you just got to try and step out on the plateau of the unknown to challenge the system, or might as well carry on and shut up and be quiet and take it. So it takes pioneers, and it takes this kind of information, and it takes people exercising these types of rights once you become aware of them to make people take notice within the system, so they know that you're aware of the rules of the game that they are playing by, and you no longer consent.
Right.
It's magnificent what you're doing.
Well, it's like I had a friend of mine, Shelly, have to go over to court for her son. It was a trumped up thing. I said, hey, you know what you do? I said, go over to the court and tell them you're there to settle the account, and you're ready to go to full closure and settlement of the account. Bring copies of the bid bond, performance bond, payment bond, the Standard Form 28 surety bond, the Miller Reinsurance Act bonds, that's Standard Form 250, 273, 274, 275. Why would I know all this shit? See, I've got all this stuff in my head, and I uncovered it all over the last 20 years and stuff about the bonds and stuff. I mean, every court case, when you walk in, they're doing Standard Form 24, 25, 25A. Matter of fact, on my third week of my curriculum, I have a 2-hour call I did that everybody can listen to the link, and I have all those bonds over at my house at Privatis.Me on the third week's free curriculum. So the first week is, smashing your illusion. I have people go watch Changes on the Horizon Part 2 on how the wars in the banking system got us all tied in, how nothing is as what it appears. I also have a 5-page document that shows when you sign up for the voter rolls how you have given over for mere benefits and privileges, so they don't think I made it up. I also have an unconsent video. I'm sure you've seen my unconsent. Have you ever seen my unconsent video?
Yes, and I want to know, do you have there is an actual process where people can sign themselves, not consent any longer to the IRS? And I've seen that again, but it's very convoluted. Are you preparing anything as far as that?
Yes. Because they will have no business with you if you bring your estate back into harmony and complete the circuit.
Okay.
You're on the dead side of the equation. If you're in the federal construct, so that's another reason why to unconsent off the voter rolls. And removes power of attorney. Our document is actually signed. It's not signed. It's sealed with a thumbprint and with witnesses. It's in a red box, so nothing gets off the page or on the page. It's all in the constructs of my 4 corners. It's a 1-page document. and it removes all ambiguity, and there's no warning on the document. Matter of fact, I'll send you my package so you can read my documents. You
Yeah,
say,
I'd love to.
this is harmony. There's no war. And you say, hey, if in other words, we're fixing a mistake. And when you do this, you send it registered. You don't send it to domestic with a
So
green.
you're putting them on notice, basically. You're not asking for anything, which is
right,
where a lot
exactly.
of the,
Notice
a lot of the, yeah, a lot of the, sometimes there's a lot of movements or sort of methods that are, you're asking again for them to allow you to leave the system, which I don't resonate with that. I'll be glad to let you know. Just like there's provisos in a media treaty, which allows members who are doing what we're doing to travel free and unencumbered, and you can go anywhere you want to, and you just have to you put them on notice. You don't say, can I apply for a visa? Can I apply for this? Can I enter your borders? And there's no limitation on how long you can be there, because you've acted as a sovereign. I am, and I'm going to tell you what I'm doing.
And I don't never use the word sovereign, because they want to label you and lump you in with citizen, which is an oxymoron. Sovereign, citizen is an oxymoron. The two can never be more diversely opposite sides of the spectrum than those two words. It's we don't need to use the word sovereign. You don't have to. I just want to be the freaking man. You just need to be the woman. See, they want you to take on a title. Let's take a look at Mr., Mrs., Ms. Those are subservient administrative titles. Did you know that?
Yes, I do. And we're doing a show this Sunday on linguistics. We'll have Santos on and Tony Kilvert and all of this. But to me, after I've studied quantum grammar and gone through David Wynn Miller and Jordan Maxwell and all of these different type of researchers, words escape us. We have like a third of the language is taken from us. So we can't speak in earnest. We can't speak in truth, no matter what we say, with words that we have available to them, from them, to be able to use what we're taught. The alphabet is convoluted. I mean, there's just a whole lot of layers to kind of go through. So I use the term just as a point of reference, but I absolutely agree with all that you're saying, because, even saying that I'm a person, well, a person means monster. You know what I mean? Or like human, it's like, well, human being or human doing. It's everything has something else that comes behind. What am I really saying? What am I intending? And what's really the message that I'm giving out? So it's important for us to get a grasp of all of this.
Yeah, take a look at the word human and put an E on it. HUE, color of man. It's not the real man. It's a color of man. I never use the word human. Everybody else wants to use the word human. Well, I just want to be the man. So matter of fact, that's when we unconsent, we're always wearing the man hat when we're unconsenting. And when we deal with them, we want to deal with the man or the woman on the other side of the equation, so they know that we know who we are and they're operating in their full and limited commercial liability by dealing with us. And we're not dealing with their false title, because they're wearing this hat, this uniform, this it's a bad actor uniform, whatever you want to call it. Well, I don't want to deal with the bad actor. I want to deal with the man. So we're all mano a mano on the same level. And this is what we teach. So we created actually an administrative package that we give to people over at Privatis.Me who get their full members. When they're full members, lifetime. I'm not about the damn money, but they got to start somewhere to get their freaking classroom time done. Because if you don't, you're going to stumble, you're going to trip, and you're going to get beat up, because you don't know that it's a mind, body, spirit tie-in. And if you don't fix what's in between the ears on your false belief system, that's the starting point. They're going to trip you up every time. Just like people who walk into court and they say, hey, son, pull off that hat. Well, once you do, you gave over jurisdiction. But matter of fact, let's cover this birth certificate. We're going to talk about how they got jurisdiction. And Curtis and I have covered this. We've done some great calls that have uncovered this. Who'd have thought that 7 days after everybody's born, they do what's called a foundling document. You know what that is? It's called a foundling document. FOUNDLING. You can do a lookup in every state. And it's under the administration under vital statistics. Well, that's the probate court, so they can probate the estate. So, of course, they lost and found anybody. That's why they do a foundling document. You've been found, but you haven't found yourself. So
you're a vessel lost at sea. I mean, even the terms we use in birth, like the birth, and then the waters have broken. I mean, everything is a correlation. It's a mirror of something else. As above, so below. So we're down below, or so it seems. We've been living below the truth. it's time to see what's
Rise
on
above
the
it.
other side, and exactly, and participate in your creation that we're experiencing in this existence. Because just walking through with your head down and playing a
Like
video game or
texting.
in a phone, you know what I mean? Like, what? Look where we've landed with that. We're so happy. Oh, there's a new iPhone out. The world is amazing now.
Yep.
So yeah, I hear you, brother.
So it's good. So matter of fact, this is a good starting point. And anybody who wants this document, this 4-page document, I'm going to get it posted up underneath and under my Peter Eugene where my links are, because this is an imperative document. Because most people won't believe it until they read the damn thing. I mean,
Right.
it's sort of hard to believe, but it's actually very simple. Whoever put this together is a genius, because it's an incredible piece of work, and it gave me total clarity. And it gives most people also clarity once they read it. So I'm going to open this up, and we're going to cover this anyways. What is a birth certificate? Anyways, I'm going to read through some of this, and we'll stop at after each paragraph. And so let's just start at the beginning. You got the link. You can open up at the same time, and we'll go through it together. And you're going to get some real good clarity here, India. You're going to love this. This is an incredible piece of work that explains it succinctly. Anyways, it says, what is a birth certificate? And this is a PDF. It's 4 pages. It says, your birth documentation should be straightforward and transparent. However, it soon becomes the most complex and secretive paper trail imaginable. This alone suggests a long history of corruption. The process involves a maze of secret trust and various parts of legislation focused on claiming your estate. Isn't that special? Now, let's just stop here for a second. Here's some irony. Over in Libya, I read the Green Book by Muammar Gaddafi. All his people, they are taken care of because they were a true source of energy. He treated his people in Libya just like that. They had their own water system. They already had their own houses. If you wanted to go to college, get your education, they would take care of it. They even got dividend checks in India. They even got dividend checks every month from the oil revenues from that country. Boy, that sounds like freedom to me, doesn't it? Did I lose you? Oh, yeah, I can't hear
I'm
you.
here.
You must.
No, I'm
Okay.
here. I was reading. I've got the document open, so they have to switch from the document over to Zoom to turn the audio back on.
Oh, okay. But isn't that interesting in Libya that all those, and you see all the trash talking on the idiot box, because if you get your news from high definition idiot box TV, they well,
the lamestream media.
Right, the mainstream media, right. They tell their lies and you buy them. So therein lies the whole problem. Everybody's buying the damn lie, and they don't go research the others. Just like the cancer thing. Nobody's looking at the other side of the pale. They wait till the bear's on the doorstep before, and then they start looking. Well, you can't be operating in an emergency mode in your brain when the bear's on your doorstep. Just like court issues, mortgage issues, all these things that people are suffering from. And they all want Peter to fix it in 5 minutes. Peter can't fix it in 5 minutes. Guess
Absolutely.
what? And if you don't, they can ignore what I'm saying and say, well, there's nothing I can do now. Well, time is going to keep on fleeting until you get your education. You're going to get whacked again and again and again. And then when you become, when you say, well, I guess now I got to do something, because I'm sick and tired of becoming a whipping boy to this game, because it's never going to stop. They're going to control. They think you're happy with where you're at because you haven't pulled your punch card. They think you're happy because you've consented, you've given over. And that's what they look at when they get you into these courts. They're looking at everything. But it's ironic that the bid bond, performance bond, payment bond, that's standard form 24, 25, 25A, they're all construction bonds. You know why they're construction bonds? Because
No,
they're
I don't.
constructing a case against you.
Yeah, that you're helping to build brick by brick. Isn't that fabulous?
Yeah, all in all, we're just another brick in the wall, like Curtis and I talked about pulling our divine proportion. Yeah. And anyways, that's real interesting because that's a mathematical construct, a mathematical equation. It all fits. This has been one hell of a ride for the last 2 years. I mean, I'm getting all these nice downloads energetically, spiritually. I get it, and it all fits. It's just like the divine proportion, the golden ratio. It's all a mathematical construct. Everything in music, everything in energy, everything in nature is pretty much covered under this construct of the mathematical equation under 1.618. So
Yeah,
we did that on our doc, huh?
Golden mean. It doesn't, like, we're so convinced and indoctrinated to believe that the system is there to keep order in such a way. But I feel like, in my opinion, the system that has created is what has created the lack, the imbalance, the homelessness, hunger, and all of these sorts of things. Because in nature, it takes care of itself. You know what I mean? There's always order from chaos. There's always enough. I mean, you don't see animals going to the Costco and saying, "Oh, I need like 400 cases of toilet paper in case there's a calamity." You know what I mean? And
Right.
because you just take care of what you need at the time that you need it, and the earth has all that we need. And this
Yep.
greed and this sort of mentality where we have to struggle against our fellow man or woman, because before they get, I better get more so that I can have and hoard. All of that, to me, is a byproduct of the system that we're in. And again,
Yep.
system, the etymology of that word goes back to a word that was used to mean a sewer. So the educational system, the financial system, the health system, all of that, it's shit.
Yeah, right, right. Well, my friend Michelle used to come on my show, my radio show. She goes, "Yeah, I feel like I'm crawling up out of the sewer, and the rats keep latching on to me to try and drag me back in." Well, that pretty much sums it up.
Pretty accurate.
Yeah. So, but I guess let's get back to this birth certificate thing. This is I might just cover one page or so, but anyways, this link will be posted for consumption over on underneath my Peter Eugene links somewhere over there with Big E. Everybody needs to get a copy of this and share it with their brothers and sisters. Yeah, I got another one. I have a 14-page document that'll really blow your mind. It talks about the hypothecation, the accounts, everything. It's a 14-pager I got about 2 years ago, and it really breaks down exactly what's going on and how your signature moves everything in commerce. So, and so now we got to switch gears. And the whole problem is we've been in the wrong house. We've been wearing the wrong hat. We've had the wrong status pretty much our entire lives. Did I lose you? All right. All right. I guess I sort of lost you. Anyways, let's see. Anyways, let me go back. I'm going to go to this birth certificate. I guess I lost you. That's what happens, folks. Welcome. It's live from New York. It's Saturday night. Anyways, I lost India for a second. It's all good. Anyways, let me go back to this birth certificate. Let's see if I can find my way back. So many pages open. Anyways, hopefully India shows back up a little bit. Anyways, folks, this is where it all started. It says the modern birth certificate began as a settlement certificate issued in England in 1837 to officially record the poor paupers, basically granting basic rights to benefits in exchange for recognition of their status as owned property, i.e. lawful slaves, also known as indentured servants and bondsmen. A child's birthplace was its place of settlement where its bond began. Thus, a settlement is equivalent to a voluntary slave plantation. Since 1933, since they took America, New Zealand, and many other countries off the gold and silver standard, all have been required by statute. And go figure, statute. It's a dead entity, statute. It's made out of rock. And that's what they got you as a corporate statute falling under statutes. Anyways, so they required folks to go ahead and have a birth certificate, a tax identification number, and since 1990, under the United Nations and World Health Organization, by the WHO, by the Convention of the Rights of the Child, the birth certificate process has become an international system of settlement. Go figure, because they're settling your accounts every time you go to court. They're operating on the private side, and they're tapping into your estate. So when you are born, given life, a record of live birth is created. It's a prima facie evidence of your life. And in New Zealand, the equivalent is a notification of birth for registration. It is your affidavit of life with details that absolutely identify your living standing It records your given name as a unique title. Go figure, folks. They got you under a title. I never want to be a title. Anyways, i.e. John to your estate. The autograph of your mother establishes the origin of your estate. An estate must come before a trust. Your mother and the estate are now, by law, trustees in an express public trust. This is why you want to come back home to the private, and this is what we're going to be teaching this coming up year. We're going to teach people how to get off this plantation a whole lot quicker. Anyways, the public trust of which you are the beneficiary. You are the holder in expectancy of your estate, which will descend to you as of right when you attain the age of majority. This original trust should serve you well, but here's a big but. This is a sucker punch, folks. Soon your parents are told that you must be registered. Well, they are under no such lawful obligation, but the state is very insistent for reasons undisclosed. Well, that's because the hospital's making a pile of money when they can trick you into having mommy give over as the informant. But according to ecclesiastical law, an estate can be held in trust by a man. But your mother was asked for her maiden name, not for daddy's last name. Constituting that would constitute maternity. So it is either legitimate or natural. The former is a condition of the mother who has given birth to legitimate children, while the latter is a condition of her who has given birth to illegitimate children. Maternity is always certain, while the paternity, i.e., who's your daddy, is only presumed. Anyways, therefore, this is Bovier's Law Dictionary says in 1856, therefore, all naturally born children are illegitimate bastards with uncertain fatherhood, having no paternal holder of their estate. Actually, folks, what they do is on the birth certificate, they actually separate mommy and daddy by a double line. They did it on my birth certificate anyways. And my mom was over on the right-hand side, daddy's over on the left. We've got a double line border between them, keeping them separate. She's using her maiden name as the informant to give me over. He didn't know, and neither did I. Anyways, we know now. So when registering an informant, that would be mama, unknowingly makes an accusation as to your illegitimacy. Informant, a person who informs or prefers an accusation against another. Black's Law Dictionary, 2nd edition. The Status of Children Act, 1969-2, says, for the purpose of this act, marriage includes a void marriage. So you are legally a bastard without rights. Bastard, this is the definition. Considered as nullus filius, a bastard has no inheritable blood in him, therefore no estate can descend to him, because daddy never came forward to make a claim. Let me tell you how this happens a little bit, folks. I'm going to cover this for a second. What happens is when the baby comes out of the canal, the birth canal, B-E-R-T-H, in the public hospital, the baby's feet really never even touch the ground. What they do is they take those footprints, and you ever wonder why they put them in black? Because that child's considered a decedent. So they grab the footprints, so the child's never even had standing. He's landed on the sea, in the sea of illusion, in a state of emergence, and he's never hit living ground, even though he might have physically, but it doesn't count. They catch the baby coming out the vessel, mama, and then they claim that new vessel, put the footprints on it, and then what they do on the next step is they actually tap into the left heel of the child, the soul, the left soul.
On the divine feminine side, that's all on purpose, the left side.
Yep. So they tap into, and they put this little blood on what's called a DNA Guthrie card. We covered that over it was Sister Arena over in.
Oh yeah, she does some brilliant work with that and talking about what they can do with it and how long that DNA survives and is extricable under light for well past anything we would ever imagine.
Yep. But what they're also, guess what? Then Curtis and I talked about how they grab up the DNA and the floor sweep of the placenta and everything. Isn't it ironic that they cut it right at the very beginning as quick as possible because they don't want the download? See, what was it called? A lotus birth. And in a lotus birth, they actually let all the platelets and cells download through the placenta on however long it takes, 7, 9, 12 days. Absolutely. Then when it's dried up, then they cut it and then they take it and put it in a safe place. Go figure.
Bury it. That's normally like in the indigenous traditions, it's to be buried and returned to the earth because I've done some shows with Janice Barcelo and she talks about the damage that is caused by cord clamping and then also harvesting of the cord blood that they sell it to you. Like, it's such a benefit. You need this and keep the stem cells. The things they're doing are just absolutely incorrigible and unconscionable when you
Very
go
good.
and
Okay.
do research.
Well, since we're talking about blood, yeah, all the blood, folks you give to the Red Cross, the blood bank, what they're doing is, and I had a buddy of mine who worked in the industry on the other side of the equation. He goes, all these idiots giving away their free blood. He goes, yeah, we're making piles of money off their platelets. We get to reprocess it and get the platelets, and they just give it away for a friggin' cup of juice and a cookie. What a bunch of schmucks.
Absolutely.
It's all about the corporate whores. They trick. See, now this is where, okay, this is what I need people to look at. And yet they trick us and they use our good intent and they steal it from us. We give over consensually, but because they were honest and open about it, they lied to us, or they did. What is it? Non-disclosure of material facts still
That's
negate.
a lie. To me, that's a lie.
A lie is a
Nice
lie.
way to say it.
They've been stealing the blood of the masses for a long time. I mean, it's but people think they're doing a good thing. Hey, who's going to raise their hand? Well, it's like, hey, it's almost as bad as the damn shots. I worked for a place called Shaw Group Inc. back in 2010 in my last contract. And, it was building a power plant of all things. Anyways, but all the numbskulls would go running to get their flu shots because they could get 20 minutes or 30 minutes off from lunch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
I used to work it for the government, and the blood mobile would come along and set up its whole scenario in a particular place. And everyone who donates blood, well, you get the other half of the day off. But no one's asking what they're doing with this blood. Just like the people who, I mean, I used to be one of these people. I used to donate every 52 days because I really was well-intentioned, as well as I used to be an organ donor until I found out what they're doing with my organs, you know?
Yeah,
I can't.
I don't want to be an organ donor on any level because then we need this type of AB positive blood in this organ here. We're going to take you out.
Yeah.
Speaking of taking out, let's cover the military construct for a minute. I know I'm sort of all over the place, but I have so much information in my head. Were you aware that every military individual that serves time on Maple Drive has a $10 million policy on them?
Yes.
Yep. So when they get beat on the battlefield, the IMF collects on the policy. That's right. You're a human resource. Most of my brothers in the military don't have a clue. Anyways, I gotta use a restroom. How do we do a restroom break when we're in the middle of a show?
Well, I can continue reading if you'd like me to read some of the information on this PDF still while you're gone, if that's okay.
I'll be back in a second.
Okay, cool. Let me get back over here then. Okay.
Yeah, I can't pee in public, so it's all good.
Yeah, let's don't do that. So he left off, guys, where he was discussing the part. So you're legally a bastard without rights. A bastard is someone considered as no inheritable blood is in him, and therefore no estate can descend to him. This is according to Bouvier's Law Dictionary in 1856. Moreover, your given name or your title is recorded in the stillborn column. A stillborn child is one who is incapable of living. If they do not in fact survive so long as to rebut this presumption of law, they cannot inherit. Again, according to Black's Law Dictionary, 2nd edition. And also, speaking of Black's Law Dictionary, there's an esoteric version as well that is, to me, very, very interesting reading, so that you can do a correlation of what you think you know and what the esoteric meaning of these terms that we're so familiar with actually is. Now, this means that the state can now legally claim your estate, means that now you are a ward of the state. The state is your daddy.
There you go.
And in Estates for Life Foreign Citizen Trust. The estates for life are created by operation of law. The estate for life is somewhat similar to the usufruct of the civil law, again according to Bouvier's Law Dictionary. So your record of live birth and the registrar's evidence, so to speak, are used to create a birth certificate bond. This publicly certifies that a property title, or your name is what we call it, is registered as a security for the national debt. It is literally registered on the Dun and Bradstreet along with corporations like McDonald's and Walmart. It's
Yep.
like a warehouse receipt for the baby as delivered goods. Again, as Peter was saying, you were a vessel delivered at sea, found at sea. You were lost at sea. So they have resurrected your dead body and brought it forward. And now they've claimed all of the benefits that you normally would be able to
Yep.
acquire. And now it belongs to the state, your parent, according to the paperwork. So these situations that we find ourselves in through this huge twisted tangle of documents can be understood if you put your mind and some spare time into it. This warehouse receipt is considered a document of title. It may be a negotiable instrument used for financing within the inventory as security. So, just like Peter was sharing, when you earn a living, these things we pay called taxes, the government gets your money before you get it. You notice on a paycheck, you've got your gross and then you've got your net. It's funny how they get theirs before you get yours. But
Yep.
according to the place that we've been situated due to this paper trail, it's not really you that gets anything first because, again, the state supersedes you in anything that has to do with what we identify as any rights. So at the same time, this bond converts your given name and your family name into now a trade name. Only corporations have a last name. A legal person has been created by the state as a franchise child of the parent corporation. And if you take a look at corporations these days, as they function, they have been given more rights than man or woman has,
Yep.
according to this paperwork, and they function with more liberties than any of us have been under these laws. So the bond is sold to the World Bank, which or the
Yep.
BIS, the Bank of International Settlements, as a settler of the trust. Your weight in ounces on the record of live birth is to calculate your market value relative to gold. Your bond becomes a registered security, which the Treasury uses as a surety for Treasury securities such as bonds, notes, and bills. So, in essence, what's happened, folks, is you've been monetized. The people truly are the credit of this nation. However, in this corrupted system, the people's credit is effectively human capital or livestock. How's that feel as a realization? Do you like that? Or would you like to reverse the calamities that are here? Is a question that I would ask myself. When you
Yep.
hear it placed that way, is this how you want to be referred to? Because I wouldn't. So
No.
go ahead, Peter. Now that you're back.
Anyways, yeah, this we've made some good headway on this. So the bond is sold to the World Bank, International Settlements, the BIS, created in 1931 by the Vatican. See, why is the Vatican always in the mix? See, from the Vatican on down. See, so for all those, everybody needs to go watch Changes on the Horizon, parts 1, 2, and 3. That will give them a little bit more clarity. Matter of fact, number 1 will give a more overview on the Vatican. It has all the structure on who's, where, what. I mean, it's sort of dry the first 40 minutes of Changes on the Horizon Part 1, but it's a really excellent history lesson. And then the last 20 minutes, it actually breaks down the structure on who's in the chain of command, getting a piece of our backside along the way. So this, we have direction of flow, India. There's this. I'm not going to have you going down 5,000 different paths. I found all the paths that everybody can go to. If they'll just go down them, they're going to get on the fast track to figure this stuff out. To say, hey, okay, I don't like the way this is going. And if you don't like what's going on at the King's buffet table, you have to do a push away. That's what I say, because if you're sitting at the corporate buffet table and you don't like green eggs and hams, to Sam I am, too bad, so sad. You're one of the children. It's ironic because I actually play on my radio show. Sometimes I'll play "Who's Your Daddy" because the state becomes your daddy, literally, when mama gives you over through this act that she was unaware of. So my objective this year, India, is to share with people this, and you don't have to get mad. You don't have to get pissed off. Just go to peace and pull your punch card. That's what we're going to be teaching this year. Isn't that going to be special?
you shouldn't be getting mad, because to me this information is empowering. I don't know if people realize that it's because of this paperwork that they can require you, even though there are ways to exempt yourself out of it, to inoculate, vaccinate your children. It's because of this paperwork that the state can come in and take your children from you. It's because of this paperwork that they can require that your children attend public schools, or you have to
Yep.
show just cause as to what they're doing instead, or kind of justify whatever means you've chosen to alternatively educate them. So you wonder, why do they have so much say in my life? Why is it that I'm beholden to these statutes that we call or take as laws? They're not. They're statutes. They're no more. They
They're
have
for
no
the
more weight
dead.
than a corporate handbook. When you read a corporate employee handbook, statutes are just suggestions. They really are not enforceable, but we've allowed them to be. And this is why your lives seem to be out of control as far as your own personal control, that your choices seem to be limited, because you're not taking the time to understand just how much of yourself you've sold away for nothing,
Yep.
for nothing.
Okay. Yeah. Well, like I say, nobody reads the driver's license contract where it says you're a vessel in contract. I couldn't believe. I'm gonna have somebody go down to the DMV and get a damn copy of this thing. Take a picture of it, and we'll scan it in so we can show people really that they're vessels in commerce, and it says it right on the contract. It's just like when you give over your bank account. If you're on the federal construct side of this equation, any monies you put into a bank account is considered abandoned property. Now it's even gotten worse. They're not even over the last month. The bankers have done some more crap to give everybody a haircut on. And now any deposit you make is considered the same with the lame securities in a bouncing market where they can basically devalue it on the drop of a dime.
Or come in and confiscate it, like they've done in, I can't remember where they were doing it. Well, not Syria. I can't remember where they were doing this last year, and they were coming confiscating Cyprus. Yeah, so it's confiscating people's monies that are in bank accounts. Like, well, the government needs money, and they've got to. Excuse me. Hold on, wait a minute. Now let you owe the government some money. They will come and knock you on your door personally if they have to get it back. There is no such thing as I don't have it and all of this. They don't want to hear that. But yet you are not afforded the same respect. There's nothing,
No.
But now you can understand why and what to do to rectify.
Counterbalance it, right? We don't. Matter of fact, when you set up on the private side, yes, there's things called EIN 98, EIN 45, setting up a structurally procedurally correct trust for your public property to land in the private. This is the stuff they really don't want me talking about.
Good. So keep talking.
Well, we have the technology. There was a way to get in, and there's a way to get out. And we have people that are almost all the way over the bridge. So this is why I'm just sort of standing fast for a minute. So everybody needs to be a little patient. But if they get over to the house at Privatis.Me, I'm going to start covering the actual technical details on how to get the hell off the plantation, as far as doing your birth certificate, on making the claim, bringing it forward, having it authenticated. My buddy Justin has got authenticated. It says the good faith and credit of him. You know what I'm saying? He's got the thing from John Kerry, the Secretary of State. He went through his authentication processes. I have many others that are going through it as we speak. I'll be going through it myself here in a minute. So this is the neat part. There's a way to get in and there's a way to get out. As long as you're operating in the private side of the equation, they got no business with you. I mean, we even know what flag to put up on your damn lawn, so they got no business with you. I bet you nobody else knows what flag to use. Anyways, that's very interesting. Neat stuff coming forward on that. So we're going to wrap up this bond, this bank. This link. Anyways, so we've been monetized. The people truly are the credit of the nation. However, in a corrupted system, the people's credit is effectively human capital or livestock. Although the state conceives a legal person baby as a ward of the state, if the state's investment is threatened, its greatest value is realized from the matured working adult. See, they don't want you coming home to age of accountability. They want you to stay in this infant position. See, that's why they have the minor accounts. Well, when you become an adult, your minor accounts come back home to the private side, to the major accounts. You're not supposed to know what we know. Okay, see, I told you, I'm aligned with the best and the brightest on the freaking planet. We're going to have a blast this year. bringing this information forward so people can free themselves from the chains that bind. So we don't have to get mad. You just got to get in class and get your mind right and your heart right and follow this bouncing ball. But here, as a matter of fact, let me cover this. It says, although the state can legally seize a legal baby as a ward of the state if the state's investment is threatened. Anyway, it says, the perpetrators of this deception know that you would one day, listen to this, discover the truth and invoke your power of attorney. Remember I told you on all the contracts, what we do in our packages, we remove all presumption of power of attorney, especially from the voter rolls and stuff, because if you don't do that, then they do have power of attorney. They are operating in a fiduciary capacity to steal your substance. So we fix that shit by make sure we use the right verbiage, not the dead man's verbiage. Matter of fact, we center the individual on the center of the page. You're not on the left hand or the right hand side. You're in the center of the page as the man or the woman. And we're not yet, but we also show the first, middle, last, and we put the word estate so they know what we know so they know that we know what we're talking about. They know that we know that there's an estate in place and they're sitting on it and it's considered abandoned. But let's get back to this article. It says, so the perpetrators of the deception knew that one day you may come back home alive again and invoke your power of attorney from the age of 18. Property Law Act 2007, section. Guess what section this is, India? You'll never guess. 22.1. I always get the 22s. Anyways, did you know my birthday adds up to 22? I can't hear you. Your volume's off.
No, I was with my head. No, I didn't.
Oh. Yeah, well, see, I get the numbers. Remember I told you it's all about the numbers. I get everything by the numbers. I've been getting 22 to death my entire life. Everything's 22s. Did you know I'm on the 122nd ley line here in USA Inc.?
No, are you really? I love it.
Did you know the address I was at before I came out here was was 22nd Street?
Oh, wow.
And
so the synchronicities are abounding.
And then when I was at Suzanne's house for 2 days before I came here, 2202 is her address.
For 2202 for 2 days, so that's 22 twice.
I'm just trying to show. I always, matter of fact, do you know what the AMJUR 222.13 is?
No.
Yeah, that's the removing your property off the property tax rolls.
Oh, I like that.
It's terminating the registration. It's called an AMJUR 222. I do have it on my desktop. I knew this would come in handy someday, so I just saved it for posterity. So we'll be coming back to that. But not today. Anyways, I always get the neat stuff just drops out, and it's always about the 22. But section 22.1, it says person. And look at the word person. Between 18 and 20 years may do certain things, except appointment or act as an attorney. 22.2 has the same effects as if the person were 20 years old. In short, you can attain the age of majority, 20, by declaring your own power of attorney from age 18. However, if you can somehow kill you off, legally speaking, they can claim your deceased estate, being your real property, lands, and property life. So you don't want to kill the straw man. You want to put him in its right status. And see, I don't want to mention anybody over any other portals, but there's other people saying lose a name. Well, that's fine. But if you don't claim, if you don't bring it home, if you don't go to ground and complete your circuit from the public side to the private side, well, guess what? They can have their way with your happy ass. And it's the same as you abandon the property. Now it's still considered abandoned property, and that ball is still in play. The only way you get back home again is by bringing your estate back into its alignment and make your proper claims without going to war. And that's what we're working on right now. So for all those who think that they're waiting for a friggin' permission slip to friggin' make their claim, oh well, yeah, guess what? The Caesar thinks you're happy exactly with where you're at because you have not removed the presumption.
Absolutely.
That simple.
And no one's going to hand you a platter saying, here, let me help you do that from the government. So you might as well perk up and pay attention, guys.
They're not going to tell you. So anyways, check this out. This was already covering what I was talking about earlier. It says this is why the legal person is legally a vessel in which the state has a security interest via the birth bond. When you reach full legal age, you become the master, i.e., Mr., Mrs., Ms. of that vessel of the sea. And if you are missing for 7 years, you can be declared legally dead by the court. The same process applied to ships and mariners lost at sea. But you'll probably voluntarily forfeit your estate. You may start to work and register as a taxpayer. So now you just gave over, you have these gold bricks on the other side in the private, and you just abandon them so that you can get a pot of porridge, a cold porridge at that, from your master, because you didn't know how to be dependent upon yourself.
So we choose to be indentured servants rather than wealthy men and women.
Kings and women, kings and queens.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's so you may work and register as a taxpayer, or you may enroll on a voting register. Either way, you are transferring your estate to the state's legal person by registering as an accommodation party. And if you decide not to register as a legal person, you are a vessel lost at sea. After 7 years, you died without a will intestate, so someone is appointed to manage your estate trust. The public trust applies to the family court to manage, go figure. The public trust applies to the family court to manage your estate under the Protection of Personal Property Rights Act of 1988. I didn't make it up. Section 11, Form PPR 6, application for order to administer property. So, under the First Sovereign Public Trust Agreement set up by your mother, you are the beneficiary while your mother and the state are trustees. However, the state employees are your public servants obligated to work for your benefit and defend your rights, having a fiduciary responsibility to do so. But because you're lost at sea and you're a bastard child and you have no family lineage, but now you under the new Foreign Citizen Trust, the government becomes the beneficiary. Here's where they sneak in and take your beneficial interest. And you become the trustee. You never want to be the trustee, obligated to work for the trust because the trustee always pays. The state has turned the tables on you. The people are employed by the state as debtors for the private banking system, which is upheld by a private bar association guild. They're all working for the federal Walmart, 10 Mile Square, DC. Curtis and I covered this. We did a nice class on there's not one damn attorney on the plantation that has a de jure oath of office to the de jure side of the equation. They've all sworn an allegiance to the dead man's side of the federal construct that they're all binded up by. That's why they can go and open their mouth on your behalf. You're considered a decedent, an imbecile, an infant, unless you've changed your status. Here's another reason why we want to change the status, because if you change your status procedurally correct, they have no business with you in your courts and you'll never be in them anymore. That's why we're doing this next step, because they got no business with us. So we got to remove that presumption by correcting the status, and that's what we're fixing to do. So now we're almost done here. The people are employed as state debtors. Anyways, so under the Foreign Citizen Trust, in your corporatized name, you'll receive endless presentments, bills, which that employee of the state, the legal person's straw man, is obliged to pay because you're wearing the wrong hat. So the theft of your estate is based on false presumptions that cannot be proven in fact. The fundamental flaw is that in order for the birth certificate to be issued, they call you a new issue at birth. Go figure. And what's the issue today? You're the issue. A man or woman must first have been born on the land. Plainly, you are not really dead, so you still have living rights on the land. You are the holder in due course of your state title under the Sescu v. Act of 1666 under subsection 4. It says, if the supposed man proves to be alive, then all rights, title, and hereditaments revest back to the man. Well, nobody's come home alive, so that's why I can't revest. So remember that only you have a birthday on which you were born into the world from your mother, the Sea of Illusion, whereas the artificial legal person has a date of birth on which it was registered by the registrar of the county. They are usually created on different dates. See your registration printout. Yeah, I came in on the 4th, and my certificate's on the 15th. And my birth certificate, it's actually dated the 15th of February, 9 days later. Got the red digits on it. It's got the nice border. It says Midwest Bank Note Company on it. Did I ever send you a copy of my birth certificate, Bond? Here, I can
No,
send
I've
you.
not seen.
You're gonna love it. Here, I can grab it in 2 seconds.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it in your Skype. I got it right here on my desktop. It's gonna blow you away, and we can post it. You can share it with anybody you want. I'm get somebody got to tap into my account. I don't think so.
Wow. It'll be a whole queue there. How many people are there already? It's ridiculous. This will be interesting, though. I'm sure it'll probably come up in the conversation. Like I said, we're going to do an excellent show on Sunday around all of these things. So,
well, maybe I can
never
pop.
hear
Maybe
it
I can
enough.
pop. Can I pop in late on that day? And maybe
Absolutely.
all right.
Absolutely. There'll be 3 people there speaking, but you're absolutely welcome to come in and have a chat with us. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, well, we're going to share the love. HI, there you are. Ding. All right, send. And it should be in your box.
Hey, let me go over here because I got it
There
on
it
Do
is.
Not Disturb, so we don't get. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up. Anyways, all right, there you go. It's yeah.
It's downloading.
All right. I'm gonna cover this. I think about 10 left. We're going to, I know we choose, but I'm going to try this parameter. Go ahead. Back in 2012, I ordered it under genealogy so I could actually get the birth certificate bond.
Okay,
Take
I'm
a
going
look
to
at
interrupt
that.
you. Listen, I stopped the downloading because it made it so that I couldn't hear you. So after we wrap, will you send it to me again?
Oh, it didn't go?
Well, I can't. Well, when I had it downloading, I couldn't hear you anymore. It turned all transformery, so it was too much going on the computer, I think. No, just send it to me again after we're done. You don't have to worry now.
It didn't go in. It doesn't know how to go in.
It's too much going on this PC with having this going on and have Skype is running, and then it's disturbing the feed. So yeah, just send it to me afterwards. But I'll definitely have a good look at that.
Yeah, you'll like it. Yeah, at the bottom it's got 0667342 underneath that. It's in the border of this bonded paper. And I wish you could see it. It's a lot harder for me to tell you about it. It's got the superimposed state of Connecticut on it and all this other stuff, and the watermarks in the paper, the whole 9 yards. It's got 3 seals. Remember I said everything's done in 3s. Raised seal, J and K Purton Register of Vital Records. That's where they're probating the estate. That's where it started. So, matter of fact, we've got our guys doing their birth authentications. Once they get them done, they're actually going and taking with an affirmation and going to put it on the public record, because you got to let them know that Elvis has left the damn building.
Okay.
So you put it on in the public repository of the county, whatever that you were born, or probably any county. It's all the circuit. Mm-hmm. But yeah, if you're in your own county, you're going to actually put it on the public record that you've now left the building. So anybody that tries to cut in front of line and tap into this estate has no business to do so, because it's been properly authenticated and brought back home, and you're now the holder in due course again, and nobody else can go to the front of the line. So we're also going to be learning other things on how to tie in the private side to bring the estate back home, so that you can actually go live your life on purpose and go do something else, because they've been using your assets your entire life. Are you there? Yeah, you're blocked.
Yes, I'm here. I'm sorry. I was answering another message, but yeah, I have a tendency. I keep my microphone muted when I'm not speaking, so that if the dog starts to bark, or like before the doorbell rang, or my kids will pop through, that way we don't have to be interrupted with all of that interfering with the show. So yeah. So when I leave the Zoom screen, it takes me a second to pop back over and put.
All right.
Yeah. Sorry.
Anyways, but if you look at my birth certificate, which you can't right now, but it's got my daddy on the left-hand side, my mommy on the right-hand side. You got the doctor's signature. You got the date. It shows February 15th, 1960, even though I was born on February 4th. Got my mom with her maiden name, and it says that she's the informant. It's all lowercase. Shows that daddy was a plumber. Shows Hartford. Anyways, it's got at the top of the page 106-60-5403, which means 106 stands for the state, 60 stands for the year, 5403. Means I was the 5,403rd vessel brought in through the front door at the county hospital at the public repository that year.
Oh, great.
Yeah. I actually know what digits mean. I like numbers get along really well.
Right.
But it's got the 3 seals at the bottom, but you'll be able to look at this later. maybe I can post it over on my page in the future. Right now, I'm not worried about it. I'm just trying to get done with this.
Okay.
Let me go back and let me go back to the end of this document because it's a really good document. All right, I got so many damn windows open, I get confused. All right, I'm back on it. Yeah, so it says, but the theft of your estate is based on false presumptions. Anyways, maxim of law. Before we get down to the rest of this document, it says maxim of law: he who fails to assert his rights has none. So, folks, for all those, and this is what I'm trying to tell these people that want to go sit in the abyss and do nothing. Well, guess what? You're asserting a maxim that you fail to assert that you know who you are, so you couldn't come back home again. So, for those that want to just do nothing and say they can't do nothing to me, bullshit. It's not going to work. You know, you can't lay quiet. If you're, see, until you do this, they can't go in the system of downs and change your status. But let me share a little secret or a little story. One of our folks has already done the DS11 procedurally correct. When she goes through the airport, she went with 5 friends. This is about a month and a half ago. They all went through the nut grab line, the radiation check line, and had their miserable lives upended. They said, "Ma'am, you're in the wrong line," because she showed her international passport, and we have a special door for you. No check, no search, no nothing. You know why? Because they recognize in the system of downs they have no business with her. She's not one of the federal slaves. She's not sitting on the federal side of the equation because she fixed the issue, because the issue is her, by procedurally correctly doing her DS11 and recorrecting her status. And there's other forms too. That's not the only one. But we're going to do this one bite at a time. How to eat an elephant, one scoop at a time. Most of the stuff that I cover, it's way past bedtime for Bonzo. I'm not trying to be negative here. I'm just saying I've been doing this for 35 years. So it's I'm not saying nobody else will get it. I say everybody will get it if they'll just follow the bouncing ball, go through the 8-week curriculum.
I have a question before we get to the end, Peter, because I have a lot of people who are international listeners and viewers, and that is there someone or is there an easy way to kind of draw parallels? Because I know that you're probably mostly working on the systems and the structures and the paperwork.
I'm not worried about all these other countries right now. They all got to wait. They all got to sit on their hands until I figure it out for USA Inc.
I was asking if you were working with anyone who might be, doing that at this point that could be helpful.
No.
Okay, fair enough.
I got some brothers over in Australia, UK, or Australia, but they're all trying to go through the front door of the Vatican. Anyways, they're not having much success. Anyway, so we're going in a different way. See, because there is dual citizenship in the United States. Have you watched any of those videos from the tribes meeting we did?
No.
Okay, that's your job. Yeah, that's your job. You need to go watch. It's over on underneath my Peter page. Just look for "Claim Your Birthright," and you want to watch day 2, video 3 with Eddie talking about the DS11, the SS5. It's sweet. It's just posted right up underneath my Peter Eugene. You'll find it.
Okay, yeah, no worries. Like I said, I usually have 6 or 7 shows a week, so I can barely keep researched for whatever's coming the next hour. So that's why I don't get around to if it's not the show I'm doing next, I don't even have time for stuff that I want to see.
I know. Well,
yeah, so that's why.
That's why I'm only doing 2 a week, because I'm busy getting over the damn big bridge and teaching how to make the medicine.
Okay, day 2.
You know, I'd love to do that.
You said day two, and what?
Yeah, why don't I just grab the link and just stick it in your box? That'll make life a lot easier. Here, just do that. I can do that. Let me find it. I got so.
I think you've got 2 minutes left. I don't know. Biggie's giving us a signal. So.
Cool.
All right, just so that you're aware.
Let me see. Yeah, I'm just trying to find this. I got so many damn links. Anyways, for those, you
can send it to me whenever you can find it.
Yeah, I know. I'll find it. I know where it is. I just can't. Well, here, I'll just go to my page. It's on my Facebook page. It's usually. Hold on. Here it is. Here it is. Yeah. Actually, it was here. I'll just put this right here. Copy. When we put it in your Skype, so you don't have to go looking for it. But it's easy to find over under my page. Oh no, wrong link. Didn't. Wait a minute. Hold on. No, there it is. Yep. It's posted under the Conscious Consumer Network. It's already on the page. So I gave you that page. It's already linked.
Okay.
But, yeah, we're wrapping up. I'm going to be back Tuesday, but Tuesday I'm going to be doing I'm switching up a little bit. I'm going to be doing medical alternatives on Tuesdays, and on Fridays I'm going to be making it. Let's climb on the peace train and get the hell off the slave plantation day. So Fridays are going to be a busy day on the modalities of releasing yourself from the chains that bind, talking a little bit about mind and spirit, but I'm going to go a lot heavier on the medical side of things on my off day, which will be Tuesday. So if anybody wants to see how to make paste or medicine next Tuesday, I think we'll be making paste and medicine next Tuesday. And what the hell, in for a penny, for a pound, we might make some tincture while we're at it too, and teach how to do that.
Is brilliant. It's been amazing to sit with you. I really enjoyed this, and I was honored that you asked me to come and join you on your first show. So this is quite amazing information you put forward, and I got my homework.
Very good. And it's not hard homework. All you do is just sit there and listen a little bit. You'll love Eddie's talk. But see, we don't do theory over here. We are about solutions. And this is what I want everybody to come on board. Everybody needs to get on to CCN because we're bringing the solutions home. And we get to bring us all back home. Mind, body, spirit. We get to come back home. And love is the vibration. Love is the heart. It's all about the heart, is it not?